Welcome to Facebook Sunday Brunch Live. And we thank you so much for coming in today. I have a great show for you. I have Tara, and her name is Tara Montgomery, but she goes by Chef Rue, I'm sorry. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes, Chef Rue. Welcome, Chef Rue, to Facebook Sunday Brunch. I also have Jackie Washington. She is co-hosting today with me, and it's a pleasure to have her. Jackie comes from Hudson County Community College of Culinary Arts, where I'm a graduate of also. Chef Rue has a fabulous cookbook. It's the ebook, I believe, Chef, right now is available?
Yes, the ebook is available on Amazon right now.
On Amazon right now. And the physical cookbook, when is that coming?
The physical cookbook should be ready in the fall of this year.
Of the fall this year. Oh, that's good. That's good. We are definitely going to be looking for that, and we'll get into that in a few minutes. And I want to thank our guests who are arriving. We do this every other Sunday, and we do this. It's not a scripted show. The show is basically, we talk about food and recipes and restaurants, et cetera, and just to make the conversation interesting, because there's so much going on out there and people have so much interest in food, and they're not sure how to go about creating a recipe, and what Chef Rue is going to talk about later on, okay? So Chef Rue, give us a little information about your background. How did you get into the culinary industry?
So I started my journey in the culinary industry about, I want to say, almost 13 years ago. And I've always liked to cook. That's just a little insight about me. But I really started right here in San Francisco.
Oh,
and
okay.
My husband, he had a job working at Wells Fargo. He had been an employee with them in the business management set for 10 years. And then he was laid off suddenly in the early 2000s, right on that boom when people were laying off. And when that happened, I panicked. And I came here where I am to my mother-in-law's house. And I remember I used to throw a bunch of big family parties because I've always loved to cook. I would make all kinds of soul food and just whatever I could get my hands on. And I had a bunch of food left over. And from there on, I went outside and I put a big sign on my mother-in-law's garage. And it was fried chicken, candied yams, macaroni and cheese, collard greens, honey butter cornbread, all for $10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So from there, that's where all of this started to come together?
Yes, it started to come together like that. And I ran that business for about 5 years. And I realized that I would have to humble myself and I needed help. Where I first started to get, I guess you can say, legit is when the corporate post office, this woman would come and get dinners from my place.
Okay.
And one day she asked me, she said, "Hey, can you do the Black History Month celebration food? Can you do the food, and how much will you charge me for about 20 orders?" And I gave her a price, and then I was like, okay, well, I got to figure out how to do this the right way. So I went down to the courthouse and I got me a DBA for like something like $80.
A DBA?
Yeah, doing business as. So you figure out how to make your business less. And I took my Serve Safe test.
Oh, yeah.
And I figured, so I figured out how to do it legally. And then I collected the money from her, but I was so inexperienced. And after that, I went and got myself a job working with Compass Group. And I worked at the Twitter building. And then I worked there for about a year or two. And then I went to Google. And then I worked at Walmart e-commerce.
Wow.
And then I even took jobs working with temp agencies where I worked in convalescent homes and I mean, wherever I could get Harvey's, I worked at the
That's
House
the
of Prime
root.
Rib one day. So yeah. And I got my experience, but where I really got my big break was at the San Francisco Airport Marriott as a demi chef there.
Wow. So you've been around the world, I could sort of say. And that's the way to get started, because then you get a lot of experience. It's just
Absolutely.
so much. It's so much out there to learn. And by you doing this, you opened up yourself to it. Whereas some people say, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. You see
Yes,
what I'm saying? They don't. They have no interest in it. Mm-hmm.
right. Especially because, they can't see the way to humble themselves, because I came from having my own business first. But I'm like, you have to say, hey, I don't know what the heck I'm over here doing, and I want to get better. I want to learn things other than just soul food, the sauce making. And from there on, from working for Compass Group and for Marriott, I was able to take classes, culinary classes, and take and do their programs they offer to employees there. So that really did help broaden who I am in this industry. Where I was able to take classes, I was able to work under other experienced chefs.
Yes.
I love the online courses. I love the guest chefs that we had come in, and you can learn from things like that. All the recipes on Aramark. I learned a lot there. I also worked at Yosemite National Park. So I learned a lot of things just by being humble and not trying to come in and label yourself as a Michelin chef.
Yeah.
I've seen that before.
When I've been cooking all my life, but when I went to Hudson Community College, Culinary Arts, the day I walked in that kitchen, I left everything I know at the door.
Yes.
Even how to cut a lemon, I acted like I didn't know, because I wanted to pick it up fresh.
Yes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So as time went on, you decided on what type of cuisine you wanted to cook, or were you open to a variety? Because as I see in your cookbook, you do have a nice variety. And as Jackie, our co-host today, mentioned, Jackie, what did you say when you saw her food?
Like, I went to your Instagram page, and I saw one thing and I saw two things. I was like, wait a minute. And I just went and scrolled further and further. I was like, good God. Like, it's not just soul food. Like, I saw that you had fried avocado.
Yeah.
What? I need to know about this. Like, I mean, I've heard of it, but I've never really seen it. And it looked so good. Like, it had my mouth watering. Like, I need to know a little bit more about this woman. And I need to get her book, because I'm intrigued, just like you. Like, I don't want to keep myself in a box, although I do love and respect soul food very much, because I don't think it's enough of us out there really displaying how good that food really is. I love fusions, you know what I'm saying? Like, incorporate different styles from different countries, along with this spot, and all that other stuff. So I get it. So the more I scrolled, the more I was like, yeah. I kept, like I already told you earlier, everything was love.
Because when I saw the pictures, I was like, who is this girl? Look at this.
My mouth was water. I said, oh my God.
Yeah, she has to be on this show. I said, I'm playing. She got to be on. And the soul food thing, in the beginning, I thought soul food was just African American, but it is not.
No,
it's not.
As I learned, because I think there's a difference between soul food and what is it? There's another terminology: soul food and Southern food.
Southern, yes.
Learned that there is a difference. That's a whole nother show we can do, because it has many different levels.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. So go on. I'm Chef Tara. I'm Chef Rue. Everybody, I call her Chef Tara, Chef Rue. That's my girl.
Yeah. Either way, either one. I answer to both.
Okay.
So yeah, I just learned the difference between what you were speaking of, the soul food and Southern soul food. I recently do. So every day I'm a student. So I love this industry. Yeah, I just learned that there was a difference only by me posting my things and putting hashtags. And one day I decided to look. I was like, oh, okay, other people say soul food too.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Now you have been going through your book. I wish it was up on the screen, but our audience and those who's going to watch the show at another time, they'll be able to get your ebook. How can they get a copy of the ebook?
Amazon.com, and you can just
Okay.
Everyone's favorite website.
Yeah.
And you can just type in either my first and last name, which is Tara, Tara Montgomery, or you can put in the search engine Cooking with Chef Rue, the West Coast Way. And that is the name and title of the book. And there's a great big picture of me.
Yes. Now you just made a statement. You said the West Coast Way. Can you explain the difference between the West Coast Way and the East Coast? Is there a big difference?
I believe so. I do. Just okay. For instance, the other day I was speaking with the chef that hired me at the Marriott. He gave me my break. Shout out to Chef Alex Rue. Alex Rivas. I'm sorry. And he was
okay.
He's not the Rue. Sorry. Alex Rivas. Yes, and he was looking at a meal that I cooked, and it was it was a chicken half, and I put Jamaican curry and Ethiopian mita on it. And then and then I gutted some serrano peppers, and I put herb cream cheese. I put can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yes.
I put herb cream cheese and bacon, and I put more cheese on top. It was Monterey Jack on top of it. And he was explaining to me, he's like, see that serrano pepper, if you were from Maryland or the DC area, they would probably put crab in there instead of bacon. He said, but it varies from West Coast. And he's also from Chicago. And he said, like, well, yeah, you guys on the West Coast and in the South, closer to Louisiana, my family's from Georgia, Louisiana. He said, you guys always putting seafood or bacon in it. He said, and over in Chicago, he said a shrimp is like big stuff to us. He said, because it's the Midwest and getting seafood and things like that, that's big. He says, but we don't, he said, seafood is kind of hard to get. I guess it's just not that big there. Right. So yeah, the soul food varies from region to region, and it's more about what you can really get your hands on,
Yes.
And I didn't know that. I'm like, that's like shrimp is big. That's like, that's so, but I didn't know that. So I'm learning every day.
The same as barbecue sauce.
Right.
I've learned that there are different regions, different types of barbecue sauce. There's the wet, there's the vinegar, there's the tomato or ketchup version. There is the molasses version. And I noticed one time I looked on the internet, and there is actually, for those who are listening and watching, if you go to the internet and you do a search, they will show you the map of the United States and each region where this barbecue and the different types of barbecue sauces are.
Wow.
Yes.
I was outside the country too. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, if you go outside of this country too, there's some barbecue sauces that are considered hot sauces. So they're but they are spicy. Yeah.
So, Louisiana, I'm sure is different. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I think on the West Coast it's more of a wet. Is your barbecue sauce more of a wet opposed to where we are? It's more thick and molassy-ish and brown sugar-ish.
Yes,
like
it's
thin.
wet. And I remember my grandmother used to always put like wine and beer in it, but she was from Georgia. So she would actually do this where, can you bring me a charger? She would do this where she would get a regular barbecue sauce, put onions, garlic, sometimes habaneros, oranges, apples, and then she would pour beer and wine in it, and she would let it ferment. And it would be kind of watery, but I don't know if that was Georgia style. But then sometimes when I go get barbecue here, it is rather wet and sweet.
Yeah, because of the different regions. But it's something I was really surprised. I didn't know that it existed. Yeah, I didn't know that it existed. But looking in your cookbook, I see there's somebody's mic on. Do I hear somebody talking? A pot moving? Tara, Jackie. Oh, I thought I heard somebody's hitting the pots. They was getting ready to make some barbecue sauce, I guess. But
it's
anyway,
Peggy A? Is it Peggy A?
Yeah.
Peggy Alphonse. I believe that's a friend of mine. That's Peggy. Yes. Hi, Peggy. We can't hear you, see you, but I think that's Peggy Alphonse. Actually, Peggy graduated from Hudson County Community College.
Come up, Then.
Peggy?
Come up, they're calling me.
Oh.
Really?
That means they're calling me. Hello.
Okay.
Oh no, she
I had to mute that. Okay. But anyway, so in your
Hi, Renee. Hi, everyone.
Oh, there's Peggy. Peggy, that's Jackie. And Peggy, you remember Jackie from Hudson, correct?
Maybe not. Oh, yes! Oh, my gosh! Oh, my
Hi. How are you?
Hi.
Peggy,
hi,
that's,
Chef Ru.
Tara.
Hello, how are you, Peggy? Nice to meet you.
Oh, my gosh.
Jackie, it's been a long time.
Oh, my gosh.
Nice to see you.
Okay. All right, Peggy, we'll talk soon, okay? All right, thank you.
Okay.
All right.
That was nice.
That was nice. So going back, we were talking about the barbecue sauces, et cetera, et cetera. But I noticed in your book, you have something that I really like, and it's Chef Ru's succulent roasted turkey wings.
Oh, Jesus. Yes, I saw that one. Oh, my God.
I love turkey wings. Oh, talk about that, Chef Ru. Talk about that.
Please talk about it. I'm looking at it right now.
It's getting kind of hot in here.
Yeah.
You guys were so funny.
So tell us about these turkey wings. Oh, you know what? Before you do that, I was going to ask you before, because we were talking about recipes, etc. Could you explain to our listeners and viewers, how did you go about writing a recipe? Because I'm sure that people don't have an idea or how to name. If you create a recipe, and I've done it in the past, how do I name it? How do I give that recipe a name? And how do I write the recipe? Something short about that.
Something short. Okay, so how to name it? I always picked the parts that I like the most. Like, okay, how I named succulent turkey wings. I kind of pictured me sitting down at a soul food restaurant or a Southern soul food restaurant, say in New Orleans or Louisiana, eating it, and I'm like, "Ooh, these are succulent." I just pictured me, picking it up, and the wings are all sticky. So that's how I pick it. Just the best parts are just like, I don't know, the best ingredient about it. I always want to put that first. So it may sound like smoked paprika turkey wings. And you think about, ooh, this wing is gonna be nice and smoky and succulent, and I'm gonna smell it when I eat it, So I try to pick the best ingredient that I love about it.
Yes.
And as far as like writing it, I had to really pick think about how, my measurements and things
Okay.
like that. My measurement, because sometimes I admit, as a creative person, I don't always measure. So how to write the recipes, of course, I had to test it out first.
Yeah.
And and then I finally came to the conclusion that I use about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of everything. I use a lot of seasoning. So that was the main thing. You just have to really, really go back and track your track record and test every single thing out before you write it and you give it to somebody else. Because I have tried a recipe before in the past and it was wrong, and I followed it all to the T.
Where did you get this recipe from? It was yours?
You mean for the recipe?
And you said it was wrong. And you said it was wrong.
She followed someone else's, I think.
Somebody else, YouTube?
Yes. I got it from YouTube. And I think what happened was, unfortunately, it was for my husband's birthday. Me and my daughter, we were going to make some chocolate cupcakes for him. It's the pandemic, and California takes it really, really seriously. So we can't go nowhere. We're still in that quarantine stage here. Yes. And for the baking powder, they put baking soda. And I followed it.
Oh my goodness.
And when I tell you, it was so nasty. It was just nasty,
Yeah.
But I think that they made a mistake and they meant to put baking powder, but I followed what it said. It said baking soda. So just be careful what you put out there.
Yeah. And it's happened to me. I do never drop chef names, but there's a popular chef, and I followed this chef recipe, and it was zucchini boat, and you had to dig it out, and then you had to mix breadcrumbs with Parmesan cheese and a couple other spices. Take that, put it in the oven, took it out, I tasted it, I threw it away.
Yeah.
I learned, and for people who are listening, and like you said, that recipe was no good. If you come across a recipe, look for somebody else's recipe and compare it. Right. And see what this person is adding. This person didn't add that, and especially be careful of the salt intake also, because some of them put so much salt, Yeah. So that's how you go about with your recipes and writing them. What about naming? What about naming a dish? Say, for instance, you create. Okay, you did name this Chef Ruth's succulent, and succulent makes it.
Yes.
You pick up that turkey wing with your fingers. Don't have no knife and fork.
I'm over here looking at this thing right now.
Yes.
Yeah. But that's good, because like you just educated people, you have to go back and you have to test. You got to retest, and you have to do it again and over and over again until you get it right. And I cook a lot, and this happened to me. But what do? I go back. At one time, I tried to create what is these? These little look like. Hold on, somebody come. It looked like I'll go back to it, but I tried it once, it didn't work. I tried it the second time, it didn't work. I tried it the third time until the fourth time. Then hush puppies. Oh. Hush puppies. And it took a while, but I kept after it. And for those who are listening, don't get discouraged. Just keep after it.
But also too that with cooking and baking, it's a little different. You can always add a little something to something that you're cooking, as to when you're baking. That's something difficult. Like you have to start over again.
So, Chef Tara, so out of all the dishes that you have made, I witnessed one because actually, Chef Tara, for my show, but out of all the dishes that you've made, which is your favorite? Do you have a number one dish?
Oh,
yeah, the crab cakes.
The crab cakes, yeah.
Yeah, the crab.
Tell us about the crab cakes.
Oh my goodness! So, watching, I don't remember this chef's name. It was another. She was a young woman, and she was on YouTube, and she's from out of Maryland. She doesn't have a huge following, but I'm an equal opportunist when it comes down to following people on YouTube and just different cooks and different things that they do. You can learn from everyone. I mean, there's, it can be just, I don't know, a young TikToker. You can learn from them.
Yeah.
But there was this young woman on there. She's from out of Maryland. And she said the problem that a lot of people who make crab cakes or try to make crab cakes is they add too many fillers to it. So the one thing that you want to do is you want to make it all about the meat. Of course, you want to add your mayonnaise and your Dijon and crackers and stuff like that, But don't forget about to make that meat. But to me, I thought the best thing about it, okay, since I wasn't going to add so many fillers, is to season that meat good. Season it really, really good. Yeah, and it's all about your sauce that you're going to dip it in and your seasoning. How can you make it taste different from anyone else's, because you're like, okay, we're not gonna make it all about the crab. Everybody know what crab tastes like, but what's your unique touch to it? What's your seasoning? What do you use? Do you use cumin? Do you use Jamaican jerk, or do you use Jamaican curry or mitmita, or are you using what do you call it, any type of African seasoning? What can you make? What can you do with this crab to make it different and still make it not so filled with crackers and breadcrumbs?
Too much. Yeah. I tried making it a couple of times, and mine was falling apart. And I'm sure people who are watching and listening, they probably tried to make crab cakes and it fell apart. So I had to, what they say, make that life-saving call. So I called up Chef Claude, Chef Louis Claude. He's the winner of CHOP for May 2019. I said, Chef Claude, I need a recipe. I need for crab cakes because mine are falling apart. I was at his restaurant and I happened to have my barbecue recipe with me. So I said, here's my recipe. I need that at a later date. I asked him, and it never fell apart. And I think because what you're saying, it was too many fillers in there. It was too much.
And probably not enough egg either.
Yeah.
Maybe one egg.
One egg is enough. You don't need like 4 or 5 eggs, because I think people figure it's egg in it and egg gets hot and it's going to hold it together.
Yeah.
But I find, and I think you mentioned when we were talking the other day, that it was the mayonnaise. And I always thought, because, in the summertime, when we go out to eat outdoors, we said, don't let the mayonnaise get hot.
Right.
So that was in my head. And then when they said cook with mayonnaise, But I thought...
there are plenty of people who make grilled cheese sandwiches with mayonnaise, no butter.
No.
Yeah.
I know. So I found it, kind of strange. So, Chef Tara, what type of now you're on the West Coast, so what type of restaurants? What are the favorites for restaurants on your side of the town?
Ooh, I'm writing this down.
The favorite type of, like, are you talking about like just food? I find out here that a lot of people, we love our pho out here. We love our pho. We love our soups out here. And then another one is it's all about here in San Francisco is we have some of the best Mexican food out here. I mean, it's super fresh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's all about our Mexican food out here. It's fresh. And this is some of the best Mexican food you can find in the world, to me. It's not like Tex-Mex where it's super heavy with gravy. But if you guys were ever to visit San Francisco and come to my neighborhood for soul food, I would recommend that you go to Frisco Fried.
Frisco Fried.
It's called Frisco Fried, and they are a little mom and pop restaurant.
The best.
And yes.
The best.
Oh my, yes, the best.
Yeah.
Yes, and there's some of the best soul food, and the colors are all Giants themed.
Oh, okay.
Then, yes. So,
but
then.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I love my food.
Keep it going.
I'm here waiting.
Look, to our audience, when it comes to chefs talking about food, we get so excited. I mean, it's like an adrenaline that just goes through your body. Just,
saliva coming down.
I'm telling you.
Yes. So
it's
you were
almost
saying
embarrassing.
So you were saying it was the mom and pop shops, and we were saying that that is the best food. Yeah.
Yes, at Frisco Fried in San Francisco, and they're right over here in Hunters Point in San Francisco. And another one is the Chinese food here. This is like us native San Franciscans. We will always say, "Hey, we don't need to go to no Jack in the Box for no egg roll. This is like little Beijing here. We've got some of the best Chinese Asian food here ever you can find. I'm talking about it's so good. One of my favorite Chinese restaurants, or I guess you can say Asian restaurant, is where you can go get some roasted crab at Fang Long over in the Sunset District. So they take a whole entire crab and they roast it, and you can get these succulent, delicious garlic noodles that come with it. And then you can get, or they don't come with it. Everything's separate because it's so expensive. But I admit, you gotta come with a pretty penny. You gotta come with a pretty penny at this restaurant. It's expensive.
What's the name of it again?
Fang Long. So I think it's
Fang Long.
Let me literacy come out, because I think it's THANG or TANG. It's Fang Long in San Francisco, and it is a sister company to Crustaceans, and they're really big in Los Angeles, California.
Wow.
Yes.
There's a lot going on out there.
Yes. Oh, and then there's another one. If you are a fan of burgers, we got our burgers here. Of course, we got the famous In-N-Out here, but yeah, we got that thing.
Because they're not all over the place.
No, it's only a West Coast thing. It's only a West thing. It's almost like Whataburger.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the one that we have here is over by the university, San Francisco University, and it's called Beeps Burgers.
Beeps Burger. Wow.
And it's the old school pull up on the outside. You can't go in. It's like a diner style. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm gonna give y'all one more out here.
Keep it coming.
And then I'm done.
I'm sure our listeners are probably like this. Oh my goodness. Why is she talking about the food? Oh, I'm hungry.
Yes. B&J's in San Francisco. It's called B&J's in San Francisco over in the Hunters Point neighborhood. And I don't know, because the pandemic has changed so many different things. They used to open at 4:00 in the morning, and it was more about for the truckers, because they were up that early. And you can get yourself some breakfast, or you can get yourself some steak and cheese and eggs. It's a greasy old diner, but oh my God, honey, it is to die for.
Clutching my pearls.
Yes, my invisible pearls, and it's not only is it delicious, but it's great hangover food.
That sounds familiar. I think they also have one upstate in either New City. My sister ordered from one. I think it's either BJ's or B&J's. It might be B&J's.
Yeah. It's called B&J's Diner, B&J's. Right over here on Gilman in San Francisco.
Oh,
I'm right.
But that has nothing to do. Isn't there a brand called B&J's? Don't they do something like a relish or something? It's called B&J's. I wonder if it, probably not.
I don't know.
B&J's. I'll look it up and I'll let you know, but there is one. But you mentioned a word before, and I'm sure people would be interested to find out if you can explain it. Tex-Mex. Is there a specific definition for that, or is something that people just created because it's Texas and it's Mexico? Can you explain that?
Well, I learned more about the Tex-Mex thing because my husband's family, they're from Texas. And I remember his mother telling me that when she would go back home, this is what I know about it. I don't know a specific reason, but it was mixed up with soul food, Southern soul food. So say like you would have a piece of fried chicken, and then you would have an enchilada on the side with the enchilada gravy and like beans and collard greens. So and from my understanding, Tex-Mex is extremely heavy. And also from speaking of a friend of mine that lived in Texas, and she is actually from San Francisco, and she was like, it's it's not the same as what we are used to, where you know, we have a lot of lettuce, we have a lot of fresh sauces, we have a lot of lime, guacamole and corn. And theirs, they have a lot of it's more like heavier gravies and beans and cheese and even like the San Antonio puffy tacos. So it's basically the masa. You put it inside of a I'm sorry, it's a tortilla press, and you get like a deep fryer or a cast iron, and you fry the taco, and then it poofs up. It's super poofy, and you put
it's sort of like this, right?
Yeah, it poofs up, and it's like a big. And it almost reminds me of a taco salad. Remember, you know, the taco salad has that weird taco shell. Yeah. And we don't really do that too much out here in California, because all of our tortilla shells are very, very fresh out of corn, and it's no frying. We might put it on the grill, and they're also somewhat kind of wet. They're not wet, but like, you know, moist, you know, they're not fried or anything like that. And we definitely don't use any ground beef. Like the meat is very fresh. You know, you might see them roasting a leg of whatever they're doing there. And I've even seen like where they do the tortilla out of bean, like out of straight refried beans.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I know because of Lotto, and those who do not know who Lotto is, he is my videographer for my shows. And he is from Mexico. And he said when he came here and we was in the store and I said, oh, look, taco shell. He said, what is that?
Yeah.
He says in Mexico, they don't take the taco shell and make it square to hold it and a taco boat and all that kind of stuff. He said that their tacos, they would have the beef, they put it in between, maybe a little onion, and that's a taco. When he saw what we're doing to it, he said, you people are ruining it because tacos don't have lettuce and the tomatoes and the onion and the refried beans. And I think we tried to make a meal out of it.
They don't even put cheese in it. Like I had
to
tell some people I know, I was like, real Hispanic people from out of Mexico, they might put I mean, when you want to get fancy, they put some, you know, sauce, you know, some fresh sauce. Like they put it in the blender with tomatoes and cilantro and roasted jalapenos, fresh roasted jalapenos and lime and all that. And they might put that on there, but there's no cheese, there's no lettuce, we have made it all kinds of different stuff.
I think that you should add maybe the crumbled fresca or fresca.
Oh yeah. Oh, the fresca, that cheese,
Right. They only just like the meat and maybe the roasted peppers on there.
Yeah.
And
sometimes.
Onions,
and he prefers the flour opposed to the corn.
Yep.
The flour, he prefers that. Now, we do have a package of masa back there. I didn't attempt to make it. I do have the press. One day I'll get up the courage because he's already made them. So being that I don't want to compete against what he already did. I don't want to do that to try to show him or show off myself. So I just leave it alone. I don't go in that direction because, you know, I don't want to open up a can of worms, you know? But
oh my God.
Yeah. But Chef Tara, with your book, what's your goal? What's coming up? And you know what? You are now a regular with us here. Welcome home.
Yay! I'm in the club.
You're in the club. You're in the club. We have to get you to the Culinary Club, which that's where we're broadcasting today. So all you have to do is just go there and put your pictures up and watch for the reactions.
I'm excited, and not only am I excited, but I'm super honored, you guys, and I appreciate you guys having me here. I'm so happy, and I was nervous as this morning. I was so nervous. So, of course.
But you know, Chef, the whole purpose of this show, like I mentioned up front, for those who hadn't logged in yet, this is not scripted. We are just talking like if we were all in the same room together and somebody's cooking and someone talking about this. That's what Sunday brunch is about. Opposed to some of the others, they might be scripted because we didn't write it down, et cetera, et cetera. And those who are in the room, we still got more to go. But those who are in the room today, we want to thank you. And my co-host today, Jackie, my other co-host, Anthony, he went away on a trip. You know what I mean? I don't blame him. Go and enjoy yourself.
Right.
But we really appreciate the fact that you took your time to tune in and listen to what we have to say. If you have a question or anything like that, all you have to do is go, I believe, at the bottom of the screen and click on chat, and we will get the message and we can answer it. So now that I said that, so Chef Tara, so what's next? What's coming up? You already have your business. You have your cookbook, the ebook. You're going to have the hard copy coming out. What's next? What do you have in, you know?
So the next thing that I have up my sleeve is I have a spice line coming.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yes, I have a spice line, and it's just 3 spices for now. Well, I'm in the process of, trying to book some tours. It's extremely hard to go out to spice fields and connect with companies to help me, just get the paprika, to get things from, because everything is closed and I don't want anyone to come out there, we only can, have so many people. So it's hard. But the next thing the thing that I am working on at the moment is a spice line.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's going to be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to tell us about it.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Oh, so what? I'm sorry. Yeah. So, the biggest thing that I would, where I really started to piece it together was when I was writing Cooking with Chef Ruth, the West Coast way, was when I figured out my pattern. Remember when I was just now talking about how much seasoning you use and what are your go-tos every single time. And, you figure out your pattern, the things that you love. And also when I would cook, I would go into my spice cabinet and I would have just mixed up stuff that I would do all the time. Sometimes I would just say, I'm gonna put a little bit this, a little bit this, a little bit that, and I would have bottles sitting around inside of my my cabinet. And my son and my husband would come in there and they're like, Mom, what's this? And I'm like, I don't know. I use that on stuff, I use it on that one. Just try it. It's good. So I was like, I need to be doing this my doggone self. And I hope to put it out and other people love it and enjoy it. I love spicy things. Like I love my cayenne pepper. Yes. I'm a spicy girl. I like my spicy.
And I like
not too many
chicken.
Hot Cheetos, but
and I love jerk chicken, and that is spicy. So is there something that you can tell our listeners and our viewers how they can put together a little spice package of their own, how they can sort of create it? Not that they're going to sell it, but they have something for their home use. I think I mentioned to you years ago, I was putting some spices together and I rubbed down this chicken and the chicken went in the oven, came out golden brown. It was so good tasting. Later on, I said,
what I use?
And I could never, and then trust me, I tried to recreate it and I couldn't recreate it.
It just wasn't the same.
It wasn't the same. It's like taking a recipe from you and trying to create it. I said, no, I know this is not the way that she made it.
Yeah.
So is there some pointers you can give them so they can create their own little spice packages?
2 things. Okay. So what I noticed this when I cook, sometimes I would have my go-to, what I put on, like if you have your garlic powder, your paprika, you got your pepper and your accent all laid out. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, you can mix all the things. Say smoked paprika, your cayenne, your garlic powder, a little bit of accent, turmeric or what have you. Mix it up in a spice mortar, right? And you just rub it on your chicken or your ribs or your lamb chops. When you lay it on there mixed up like that, for some reason, it does not always turn out the same way as what you took this. I like this. My Johnny seasoning bar, and you sprinkle it on there first, and you did it in layers. But
spicing in layers, correct?
Yeah, when you go in layers, you always get a potent flavor as opposed to when you do a rub. It doesn't make it taste any less flavorful, but for some reason I noticed that there's a difference when I go seasoning salt, paprika, garlic powder, cayenne, and I go in layers first with the sprinkling. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but it tastes different as you put the different coats on it.
And then you have to be careful because one is more overpowering than the other.
Absolutely.
But what I did during my shows, and I try to do this all the time, if I'm going to put a spice on, a rub on, I tell people squeeze it between your fingers to get the oils to come out. It's like if you were to take your seasoning and put it in a pot with a little bit of olive oil, and you notice, or curry, for instance, you can smell fresh curry. It smells good, but when you put it in a pot,
it's different.
It blooms. Mm-hmm. So I suggest for people, personally, I mean, this is for me, to squeeze it between your fingers, and you're going to notice that when you smell your hand, you say, oh, take the regular, smell it, squeeze it, and there is a difference.
But also, you mentioned too, how you have your herbs and then you have your ground items.
Mm-hmm.
Your ground items are not as potent as your herb items. And when you put that together and you mix everything, you might put a little bit too much of the herb. You understand what I mean? Like
it's too earthy.
Herbs are more like just chopped herbs or whatever, dried herbs. So you have to be a little bit careful with that, because also when you cook, sometimes those herbs don't necessarily break down as much. And then when you're done with your meat or whatever you just seasoned up, it's almost like they overpower the meat or the item that you cooked.
Yeah.
Careful.
Yeah. A little bit goes a long way. As you said, a little bit goes a long way. So how is it coming along with your spices, Chef? Everybody, I want you to write to Chef Tara that you want some of her spices.
I will.
Wow. Look, I'm setting you up, right? Say, wait till I get up here. Let me light Renee up. He's going to have everybody check. It's Chef Tara Montgomery. Chef Ruin, Instagram. Actually, if you want to see some of her pictures of her food, I forgot to mention before, you are on Instagram under Chef.
The West Coast Roux.
That's it, the West Coast Roux. R-O-U-X.
The West Coast Roux.
Yeah, yes. R-O-U-X. Go there. Look at her pictures. You're going to be, oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
You can also check on LinkedIn. I have quite a few things on LinkedIn too.
That's where I initially saw you on LinkedIn, because I'm always on there. Yes. If y'all don't
that's
have
where I
LinkedIn,
met you.
Yes, if you don't have LinkedIn, get LinkedIn, and you wait until you see her stuff. You go say, when is she coming back on the show to cook?
Yeah.
Oh, when COVID is done.
Yeah.
I want to be in that room.
I will. I did when I did the show with you, but one of my most favorite recipes is the roasted garlic. And I found out about that recipe over in Yosemite when I worked as I was just a cook there. And I went to some restaurant in what the heck? Merced, in Merced, California. And that's like a little bitty town outside of Yosemite, California. And me and another cook, somehow we got out of that park, which was really hard because Yosemite National Park is
gigantic.
Huge. It is gigantic. Yeah. We're in the mountains.
Oh.
I mean, the altitude is different. Even when you have a drink up there, the type of, when you can have one sip of alcohol up there and you just get super drunk because you're way up high and the altitude does something different to you. So, so when you have a drink out there, you have to drink a lot less because you were drunk like that, you know, because it's like gravity. But yeah, we got out of there. We went to some little mom and pop restaurant, and I'm talking about that I tried to recreate that roasted garlic soup over and over and over again until I finally got it down, and it's in my book, and I love it.
Chef Chef Rue is going to be on my show in the kitchen with Chef Renee Hewitt next week. And you see, when I saw her prepare the soup, you have to watch the show to see how she puts the soup together. And I was like, huh? And she said, don't worry, Chef Renee, it's not gonna, I don't want to spoil it for them. I want you to watch it in the kitchen with Chef Renee Hewitt. Now, most of you know that I'm on Comcast Xfinity channel 190 and 109 and 1098 every Saturday night, 8 to 9. For those who don't have it, you know that you can go to chefreneehewitt.com, and her show is going to be up, and she'll be there for not 1 week, but for 2 weeks. Weeks in a row. Two Saturdays in a row. Yeah.
I'm excited.
I am too, and it's a good show, everybody. It's really a good show. You have to see this. So you said now the spices, do you have any idea when that's coming out? Or
I'm hoping to put the spice out by late July, early August is when I can really perfect that. I'm still in the mode where I'm testing things. I have something in mind. I guess if you kind of want to know which way I'm going, if you get the book and you see all because I have loose spices, by tablespoons. So I kind of use that same concept, not exactly, for one of them. And that is a versatile spice that, like with the smoked paprika and things like that. I'm playing with it right now. I have my bottles and I'm speaking with a small team right now. And but we should be ready by late August.
So that's that's on the menu.
That is on the menu. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And before we go, Jackie, do you have anything to ask Chef Rue?
Yes. What place inspired you to want to travel there and learn more about their cuisine?
New Orleans.
Awesome. Yeah.
Everyone else, like everyone goes there.
I saw your beignets too. They looked really good.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
They look really good.
And one thing I understand is about Louisiana is that everyone thinks that everyone there can cook. When you go to the north, it is completely different from New Orleans. And honey, I'm telling you, it is a world of difference. And I didn't like what I found in the north. No, sorry, but I didn't like it.
So is New Orleans in the southern part that's better than the north? What are you saying?
Absolutely. I went to Dubac and Monroe. And the way that they cook up there in the northern part, which is like closer. Okay, so like people from Texas kind of migrate over to the northern part of Louisiana. And just the cuisine,
the bland.
It wasn't, it was just so oversaturated. Per se. It wasn't as much as soul food. Like I remember having some macaroni and cheese and they use Velveeta.
I used it once. I did
not
use it by itself. I used it with something else.
Yeah, what I noticed is that what they love up there is Rotel did. But that's it. Let me just stop because I was 27. I am now closer to 40 than anything else in my life. So we were in. So they would get the ground beef, put the Velveeta, put milk, and then the Rotel in the can and mix it in there, and then they would get the Doritos and they would put it over the Doritos and I would be like, and I always love to cook. I don't eat junk food like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a junk food person. But they were all, and it was like wherever I went, to someone's house, because that's a small town and my family was there. They were all about that. The old ones, the young ones, they were all about that. And even the way they did their hot water cornbread, they did it from white corn.
Oh,
I said,
white corn.
yeah.
What?
Yes, and this is in Dubach, Dubach, Louisiana. And I was like, oh yeah. This is a world of difference from New Orleans. I was like, oh my
God. remember when I told you? I told you about North Carolina that I made it. It was delicious. What kind of sandwich was that? You remember?
Oh yes, with the cornbread and the greens.
It was a collard green sandwich.
Yes.
Oh, it is so good. With the chow chow on top and the cornbread together. Oh, people who are watching, go on the internet and look up this collard green sandwich. I guarantee you're going to say, oh, never seen it before.
Chow green sandwich.
Look,
yes.
Chow chow is made with green apples. I might be making some because what do I have
green
here?
Apples?
I mean green tomato. What do I have here? A green tomato.
Where'd you find that?
At Supremo Supermarket in this neighborhood.
Those are hard to find.
It is hard to find. It's very hard. Yeah. So you got your book. You got, everybody is loving that. And your ebook. Well, no, first it's the ebook. Then it's your book, which is coming out soon. And then your spices. Oh my goodness. We're going to be friends for a long time.
Yes. And you all can just keep watching we're on my website, the website at thewestcoastrue.net. And then also on Instagram for all of my photographs. I have the West Coast Rue on TikTok. I have Chef Rue 94124 on Snapchat.
Wow, she's all over.
I have a Snapchat. Yeah. Wow. And then I have the West Coast Rue on Facebook too. So yeah.
Hey, you know what? Like everybody is who's watching and listening, this is the way to go. If you believe in something, put your heart into it. Don't let anybody come from the left or the right to stir you in that direction. Put your visors on, look straight ahead, and don't look back. You have to go forward. It can be discouraging, and don't think because I have my show through the past year, I'm in my second season, there were times I wanted to give up. I'm saying, oh, is this worth it? But then I smacked myself. Wake up. Good. So I want those who are watching and listening to do the same thing. Go straight ahead. Big example, Chef Rue. Look at this young lady. She decided on what she wanted to do, and she's making her dreams come true, and she has a family. But when you have that support system behind you, it always works. You come into one or two people saying, oh, but why are you doing that? I'm doing it because I feel like doing it. And why are you questioning what I'm doing?
That's right.
Because yes, you can't let that happen.
Eliminate.
Yes. So, Chef Tara, we can go on because this is a good show. A friend of mine, Deborah Thomas, Jackie, you know Deborah Thomas from Hudson Community College, Culinary Arts, and she just sent a thing in and saying, great show. And it's where people like the both of you that make it what it is today. And Chef Tara, welcome home.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much for having me. Oh my God, it's a pleasure. Renee, Jackie, Peggy. Oh my God, I thank you guys so much. I'm so honored, and I so appreciate everything.
Is there anything you want to leave us with?
Thank you.
I want to say one thing. I am so proud and excited because there are more Black women coming out, doing their thing, and more Black people doing the same. And we have to really encourage each other. We really do.
Yes.
You don't see enough of it on television, but we have to screw that and bring it to our lives and the reality. We've got to support each other. We really have to.
That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this. I mean, I'm not saying that a white person is not going to be on the show.
Right.
Yes. We want them to be a part of this field.
Yeah. But we don't get the exposure, and I thought, you know, I finished school, the 2 colleges, et cetera, and I says I wanted to give people out there, young people out there, the opportunity to show their talent, especially African American men and women, to be able to show their talent.
Yes.
And you did it.
Yes. And you know what? And if anyone who was watching who was in the industry and you deal with that mean, condescending, crazy behavior, you know, deal with it until you can get to where your dreams are, you know. And I'm telling you, they will eat crow, you know, because that's no way to treat people. This industry is so shunning. I've seen it towards everybody. I remember there was a white young chef who worked kind of alongside of us at the Marriott, and he was told to do some gravy for the African American History Month. And I remember the big chef, the executive chef, kind of clowning him. And I was like, you know, we shouldn't treat each other like that, because this is an art, either way that you look at it. We're all artists. It's just all kinds of just crazy stuff, but you can't let that get you down. There are going to be clowns like that everywhere in this industry. Just keep your eyes on the prize. On the prize.
Yeah, and your visors on and look straight ahead. You know, pass it by like you're swimming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Eliminate the trash.
There you go. You eliminate the trash as you're moving on. Well, thank you again, Chef Tara. We could be talking like this for the next hour because there's a lot of food we did not cover, but this was really
right.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And those who are watching, if you didn't see the beginning of the show, around 5:30ish today, it'll be up on my website, and you can watch the show in its entirety. And tell your friends we'll be here in 2 more weeks for another episode of Sunday Brunch live on Facebook. Okay? Thank you, folks. Mwah.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome. My pleasure. Okay. Until the next time.
Yes.
Okay.
Bye-bye. I hate to go, but bye-bye.